I don't know why my videos are so dark, but for those who don't know me, they sometimes call me the Laser because of my Hebrew name, Laser Lipa. Sometimes they call me the Archer, as per Archangel, Resident Angel, or the letter R, 18. How do we become 18? Well, let's look at it this way. On Rubik's Cube, when you go to the one center, it holds a cross of 6. One center, cross of 6. 1 and 6 is 7. The partner that partakes in this is the number 4 Mars and the number 3 Earth. If you want to invert that from upside down, we would go to Pluto and Mars. Don't understand the reflection? Just to say, this actual video is all about the center of Rubik's Cube. One center core holding 2, 4, 6 arms. Not 8 arms, 6 arms. Figure it out. Does anybody want to know what 1 and 6 is? Now, when you go to 1 and 7, it means the totality of the 1 holding on to the 6 is the queen. Why? Because she has the tail, and it's the tail that turns. And it's only the tail that turns. Is that correct? On the top row, 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't turn the center. On the bottom row, 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't turn the center. On the sides, you don't turn the center. And on this side. So you're now turning a block of 9 and a block of 9, which is 18, or a block of 9 and a block of 9, which is 18. But 4 corners of the 9 on the bottom are triplicates and represent 2 on the side and 1 on the top. 4 corners equals 12. Plus the 4 equals 16. Plus the center equals 17. Now we have number 17. Did you follow me on that? Should I repeat it? On the sides and top in each corner of Rubik's Cube is 1 cube representing 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. You have 4 other ones which represent 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 and 12 is 20. The 1 in the center is 21. You now have the reason for the cube dice totaling 21. This cube must represent the cross. Why? Because it is the 1 that will transfer the 6 that will transfer the sides and the corners through the center of Rubik's Cube, and only the center. The rest is you turning around in life. Thus, a small little vision. Another thing I was going to show you is 1, 2, 3, 92, 98, 148. 148 equals 44, which equals space. How does it equal space? Because it equals 22 and 22, which is just before the 2 angles of 45, which makes it 22 and a half this way and 22 and a half that way. Would touch the 45, so we can't do that. We stop on 22. We go 22.25 and 22.25. Now we have a half space that is opening. 15 by 15 is 225. 5 by 45 is 225. The center value is the egg, and it has every representation as being the egg. Gematria might do a lot and bring in great numbers into every aspect, but without the definitions on top and what games and people play, how can we know any more? The numbers are difficult. There's a whole 10 numbers. Actually, there's 11 numbers, because you got to count 0, and you got to count the other 9, and then the totality of that would be in the pact, which would be the 11, meaning 1 of one group and 1 of the other group inside the 10. Odds and evens are going to show positions and will actually show you and tell you the angles. Now, let's not start with the angles, because the Earth is like this, but the telephone is like this. So I'm not sure which way to come out, and if we're not in a direct conversation together, like, okay, it's left because of this reason, and of this, and then I'm going to go it's right because and then we're going to turn it upside down because of this reason. So it's just a big old tree, man. It's a big old, tie that yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Why? Because the oak tree bleeds red. Or something like that. I don't like to say anything certain, just in case somebody comes back. Another thing I did want to mention in this video is my number of 7286 is actually 6827. And when you take that away, we're going to go 7286, 6776, and okay. Ta-da! 5151. 7286 minus 6776, which is a number of moons, 67,076 if I remember. Or was it 88,000? Now I'm going to have to use my calculator. Once I start, I have to finish. 6776 times 13 equals 88,088 moons. 88, the keys on the piano, two hearts upside down from each other, 44 and 44 space angle of 44 and 44 space angle, which brings in the total angles and the president's number right now and related to Herbert Hoover and Hoover Dam. What's in that river of Lake Mead? Oh my God. So what these numbers are is somehow I punch this up, like I just punch things up and they don't come out the way they're supposed to sometimes. They say different things from what I write. And this came up as being some kind of DNA particle that's inside of us. It also represents 1,001 years more than the Hebrew calendar of 5775, which is the difference of who I am of 7286 and the Galactica nation I come from, makes a difference of 510 or 51, reading my number backwards, just moves the 0 to the front, which would be 51015. 51015 is exactly the center of Rubik's Cube, your telephone, the baseball. It also says the tops of the Twin Towers, and I'm not going to tell you exactly everything right now. There's nothing really much to say. That I can use even other numbers, and I can go, let's say I went to 1776 to 6827. I'd be left with 1505, which would be 101. And this would be 7286, 1776, which would be 0155. 5051, 5510, whichever way we do my same numbers. So if you don't think the number is good, stands up for the passage. 5 and 5 is 10, 5 by 5 is the 25, 25 and 10 is 35, 3 and 5 is 8, 3 times 5 is 15, and 8 is 23 of creation. 23 of creation, 7 skip 8. Put 23 over here, because it makes the 10 worlds of what? Of 26 or 6226, because it's a universal number. It's going to keep on going around. It's just like the numbers, they don't switch. They have a position in this world, and they're always going to retain that position until you go to Europe from Canada, and then the toilets flush upside down. So I'm going to be a little weirded out for that, right? Right. So to end this, remember, the bull's horns are connected to the Baltic and the Mediterranean. You got to figure out the rest. Don't forget the number of moons. I don't count the leap days. Do you know why? Because it's all fake anyways. This whole world is fake. Well, it's not that it's not real, but there's a lot of things that you think we go around and around the sun. You know what? I think by the time we get around the sun, if we're even going around the sun at all, like I'm a little confused, like if we are going around the sun, it's chosen. Do you think this world is so perfectly in place? Going around the sun, the moon, 28 days? The numbers tell me other stories. It might be 28 days, but there's reasons for the fixation on these numbers. And it comes out of a computer. So if you think this universe is not run by a computer inside the polar of what I call it, the solar system, the polar system, whatever system you want to call it, it's the Polar Express. The North Pole tells everything, right? So why do they hang out in the South Pole? It's almost like south is up and north is down. You going up north? Yeah. You going down south? Yeah. Just an expression. Watch out where you take all your expressions because they might mean a whole lot different. Raphael, 7286. Mrtacpans, do I not announce that? Should I just say Mrtacpans? What do you want, Mrtacpans? What are you doing in the background? What do you want me to say? Yeah, Mrtacpans is a little shy today. He doesn't want to say anything. So he sticks me up here in the front. He says, Ron? I go, yeah. He says, you do all the acting. He says, I'm tired. I go, why? He says, I've been following you all my life. He says, now that I caught up to you, it's time for you to do the work. I'll be the director, and they'll blame it all on the bad actor. That'll be it. Is that right, Mrtacpans? What was that? Say that a little louder so they can hear you. He's telling me 2017. I don't know why he keeps telling me that. But you do know that if Christ and anything was right about Christ, I'm going to tell you one thing. If they don't know when he was born, Mrtacpans does. He was born in 3 BC. He had to be born in 3 BC. You show me what exists on this dice. This is 360 degrees. 3 BC's right here. The angle of creation of 159 or 19.5 degrees. The angle of the entry. This is the 33 of Christ. Dink, dink. You cannot make it any other way. So if Christ is the number 33, he came in at 3 BC. Because in the year 2000, nothing happened. And 2,000 years ago, nothing happened either. They said they saw the Star of Bethlehem 3 years before. Who wrote that? Because that Star of Bethlehem of 3 years before, meaning Christ was born in 3 BC. And Moses, 2350 minus 100, 2250 to 2350 was Moses. Why? Because of the number 9447, 37, 74. What are all these numbers? You asked the question. 47 is time. When you multiply it by a certain number for a certain reason, it meets the center of the dice, the center area of the dice. And to reach that center area, it takes a total of 470. 940 is the totality of the passage, 4 and 9. 4 represents the 4 corners, 9 represents the birth, 4 by 9 is 360. You got 360 around. There you go, number 47. 4 by 7 is 28. 4 and 7 happens to be above each other on the phone as Mars and Uranus. 4 by 7 is 28 of February. 4 and 7 is 11. 11 and 28 is 39, and that says perfect. Raphael 7286. My mouse won't let me shut this down. I don't like to say shut down. Shut down. Ooh, the 21st is in 4 days, and guess what? Before I forget, tomorrow is the 18th. Whenever they tell you the last day, always start a minimum. Okay, if they're talking in a week, always start a minimum of 3 days before. This begins on the 18th. In fact, this is the eve of the 18th. So if anything must start to click, according to Rubik's Cube, it begins at midnight tonight. And it will run all the way to the 24th. And then, of course, Santa Claus is coming. Santa! Ho, 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 ho! Oh! Wait a second. Santa's not here. Santa, you can come. Don't worry about it. I'm Jewish. I don't care. You have a smile on your face and you always look like you're drunk. And I like Rudolph's nose. Fuck the religion. Come on, buddy. I ain't got no... I'm going to leave my patio door open with a glass of wine. I'm sure you'll stop here first. I'll put out a blue beacon. Is that okay, Santa? He also don't like to talk. I don't know why. Every time I start talking to people that are here, nobody wants to talk anymore. My mouse keeps turning off. Even I'm having trouble with my mouse. My mouse? Did you meet Santa Claus? Let me show you who Santa Claus is. Show you what Santa Claus does. Well, we got that old light going there. And that's my chimney. And Santa Claus is down into my lungs as a spirit and part inside of who I am, the soulmate, the iRobot, the angel electronic, the angel resident under the Queen's power on this earth. When you lessen the life of one, he just returns to where he's come. Raphael 72:86. On the constellation of Pegasus, up in the Baffin Islands, none of it. Well, I'll have none of it. Well, I'll have one of it, I'll have some of it. But Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy Hanukkah! Ho, 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 ho! What a joke, you guys down there on Earth. Is that all you talk about is religion and shit? Why don't you get your cards together and get out of the house? All you do is take the chance gambling, put your money on the line, saying everything is fine. Man, you waste so much time in the church, you don't know what's coming up. You think that the Pope is a president, and you think the president's... Well, I'm not allowed to go to that level. They'll probably shut me down. Barack Obama, Merry Christmas. I know you can't stop what's going on because you don't have the heart. But that's okay. Most presidents don't. Most superiors don't. Why? Because the Matrix has taught us to rule, to win, to advance, to bring on evolution. This is what computers are all about, my friends.